Hi, welcome to DTKSS. In this current session, we are going to discuss about Azure File Storage. The Azure File Storage is fully managed cloud file shared service, and this file shared service will be accessible through server message block protocol, that is SMB protocol, which will use to access the files from the Windows server. NFS will use for Linux machines, and you can able to access these files shared service through the REST APIs. So now we talk about why we need this file storage. So the first scenario is a replace or supplement on-premise file server. In traditional approach, like you have created your file server and you are storing all your organization or project files into this file server, and this file server is accessible by the clients through FTP or SMB protocols. So client A and client B is accessing using different protocols, and now the management thinks that they want to move all these files into the storage account, but without impacting these clients. So they no need to implement or they no need to change any approach accessing of these files. So in this approach, you can able to create a storage account and you can map that storage account to this file server driver through the Azure File Sync. This Azure File Sync will help to sync the files from the storage account to the file server. In this approach, the file server driver of the folder will act as a cache to serve the files to the client. So the clients did not know that where they are getting the files. In fact, they are getting the files from file server itself, but we are storing the files into the Azure Files storage account. So this is the one use case scenario, and the one other approach is lift and shift application. For example, you are implemented an application and you have deployed the application into the app server. In general, when you deploy the application into the app server, you will map all the log files, all the required file mappings, the application mappings into some specific driver. So you want to move all these driver, whatever the files you are sharing, you are having here in the drive, you want to move to the storage account. So you can move those files into the storage account, and without impacting the application, you can map the drive. So when you map the drive, this will become a shared drive. So whatever the files been added here in the file share, it will automatically reflect here. Whatever the files been uploaded or added to this shared drive will be synced to this Azure File Share. So this is the second scenario. And third one is the containerization. So when you are working on the Docker and you have deployed that application into the container, so to maintain the state of that application, you are required to use the volumes. Without volumes, the application state cannot be maintained, because when you create the container, this particular app will start from the beginning. Wherever you are there, that state will not maintain. To maintain the state of that application, we need required the volumes. So you can map those volumes into the Azure storage account, and whatever the state of that application will sync to this Azure File Share. The advantage of using this approach is you can build the container one time and you can use that, or you can run that container anywhere in the world. Why? Because of the state is maintained in the storage account, and that state you can access anywhere, and you can map that volumes to the storage account and that particular container. So meaning wherever you deploy the container, same state you can get from the storage account. So where you are accessing that container, where you are running the container is no matter. So you are mapping to the right volumes shared path. That's it. You are getting that share the application state. So this is the third symbol. And one more is simplifying the accessing of development projects. So Azure Files also used to simplify the new cloud developments. For example, when you are developing an application, you have lot of application settings which to be used for different environment and different servers. For example, when you are deploying to an application package into the multiple servers, it is very tedious process. You need to copy those files from local to your server every time. It is very tedious. Instead of that, you can create a simply the file share, and you can copy the files into the file share and you map the files share to that server. So it is easy to get those packages directly into the server. And one more advantage is diagnostic share. So this is like you are maintaining all the logs of different servers into the file share. So you are maintaining at the central location. And one more advantage is keeping all the development, test, debug tools into the central location and share across the team. Who are working on with your team can share with them using this file share. So now we go back to the Azure portal. Now under this Azure portal, we already have a resource group D2KSS. So go back and here you can create the storage account. So create the storage account. Name it as D2KSS storage account and choose this as LRS advanced. So just choose all the default values, no need to change anything. Review and create. So it will take a while to create the storage account. Deployment is successful. Go to the resource and go to the file share and choose the file share, and here you can choose the DTKSS file share and you can choose hot and click on the create file share. So the file share is created. Now one way is you can directly upload the files here using the file share. The other way is sync the files from virtual machine to this Azure file share. So in order to implement that, first we need to create the Azure virtual machine. So go to the resource group and click on create and type virtual machine and choose the virtual machine and create the virtual machine. So call it this as a D2KSS VM and I will choose this Windows Server 2019 data center and name this as admin password and just leave as is whatever the default settings being selected by Azure. Then click on create. So it will take a while to complete this deployment. So the virtual machine is created. So go to the resource and launch the virtual machine through RTP. Download the RTP. Connect. Enter the credentials. So the virtual machine is connected. So it will take a while to launch the initial loading. So meanwhile we'll go back to this D2K SS storage account and file share. Under the file share, click on connect and you can choose the drive. So either whatever the drive, if you want to add it, you can choose the drive and show the script. So this is the PowerShell script. You can copy it and go back to the virtual machine and wait for a while until it just finish initial loading, and open this, type the PowerShell, open this PowerShell ISC, run as administrator. So go back to the Azure portal and copy this script and paste here and click on enter button. So connecting to TCP and waiting for the response. So now the script is executed and the file share has been mapped to this virtual machine. Go back to the file explorer and click on this PC. See, you can see that D2K SS file share has been mapped to this virtual machine. So here open this file share and create any file. For example, I'm just creating a text file, name it as sample text, and modify the text, some values you are entering. So go back to the Azure portal and here you can able to see the file share. Under the file share you can able to see the files which is uploaded from the virtual machine. So click on the browse. So here under the browse you can able to see. So here, from here also you can able to upload some files. Any file you can take, upload, and upload is successful. And go back to the virtual machine. Here you can able to see that particular file which we have been uploaded here. So it is syncing